Thank you, Mr. Deputy President. I'm just in shock with that last contribution. There are many rare and endangered species in the Blue Mountains. If you're lucky, on rare occasions, you might spot a quoll or even a powerful owl. But last week, one of the rarest species to be seen west of the Macquarie Street was spotted in the Blue Mountains. I speak of the opposition leader, Chris Minns, who made what has been described in the local newspaper, the Blue Mountains Gazette, as a whirlwind tour of the Blue Mountains in the company of the local member. He bought a photographer, did a press conference and met no community members other than union officials. Not one to waste time for formulating a policy when there are cheap political points to be scored. The opposition leader spent his time in the mountains lamenting the state of New South Wales without offering any substantive policies to the voters. Back again supporting Labor's union mates, the train unions, instead of hard-working commuters. The opposition leader repeated the spin that we hear all the time, that the rail, tram and bus union are continuing to strike and block the new trains over safety concerns. This regards the new $2 billion intercity rail fleet, currently in mothballs at Mount Victoria, like jumbo jets resting in the deserts of America. I'll remind members that these alleged safety concerns relate to an independently certified new intercity fleet, the fleet approved by the National Safety Regulator over a year ago. I would welcome the opposition leader back to the community of the Blue Mountains any time to talk to commuters at the railway station on the condition that he is willing to finally tell the truth. The truth is that they are stuck. We are stuck in the Blue Mountains on 40-year-old trains that the train officials tell us will go into a museum the day they finish operating, because the unions are hoping in vain that if they cause enough chaos and delays, voters will elect a union-led, union-controlled Labor government next year. The voters of New South Wales are smarter than that, and they see through Labor and the union's cheap stunts. The new trains are ready to roll out in the Blue Mountains after our upgrade has been completed, and if the unions stop holding commuters hostage, they can start tomorrow. These new trains come equipped with all the accessible toilets, tray tables, armrests and mobile device charging stations, which Honourable John Graham announced they're going to put in train stations. They're already in the trains, but in mothballs at Mount Victoria. These features mean a more comfortable ride for commuters, not that Labor cares. And while the Sydney-siders in this chamber, these might sound like small changes you take for granted, for those who commute around about 2 hours each way per day on 40-year-old trains, these creature comforts will make a lot of difference. It's time for Labor and the unions to stop the games and let the community access the new independently approved trains. I was also pleased that while the opposition leader was in the mountains for his blink and you miss it press conference, he appeared almost certainly to lend Labor support to a new $500 million hospital for Katoomba in the Blue Mountains. As I said in the Blue Mountains Gazette, quote, "Every person and their dog welcomes a $500 million commitment for a new Blue Mountains hospital by the New South Wales Labor opposition. Whilst they're at it, maybe ask the federal Labor member to chip in, as the Liberals did for the Nepean Hospital upgrade." But on this side of the chamber, we understand that you can't build infrastructure or invest in health at record levels as we're doing without running a strong budget and managing the state's finances. Maybe if the opposition leader and the New South Wales Labor Party spent more time thinking about policy and delivery instead of stunts and press opportunities, they'd understand this. A new hospital in the Blue Mountains certainly wouldn't come under a Labor government. Labor has a history of neglecting the Blue Mountains and Western Sydney and taking the voters of the West for granted. Labor knows all about empty promises, but we only need to look at the last time those opposite were in the government seats to see what comes of this rhetoric. Nothing. Compare our 11 years of government to their 16 and you'll see which party is the party of infrastructure delivery and building our state's resources. You'll see which party is the party of record health investment, and you'll see which party delivers safer, more comfortable commutes and commuting for the Blue Mountains residents. Only the Liberal National Government has the experience and proven record of delivering in New South Wales. And finally, Mr Deputy President, I'll give a piece of advice to the opposition leader when it comes to the Blue Mountains. I would caution him against getting too close to the member for Blue Mountains. After all, she is closely implicated in the demise of the last two Labor leaders.